1, 2, 3, FCA!
Okay, so continue with takedowns. We're going to do a little bit of illegal judo, so banned techniques, grabbing the leg. Some people will say they changed the rules to allow a more flowing game and make it all exciting to watch. Some people will say a bunch of Eastern Europeans came in and started beating Japanese people by using wrestling techniques. I don't know what's true, I wasn't there. All I know is that some of these techniques are really fun and really effective. And the fun thing is in jiu-jitsu and in MMA, they're perfectly legal. So in this situation, we have a right to right. So he's right foot forward, I'm right foot forward. I'm going to work from a sleeve control, so if he's gripping me, I'm going to break that grip. What I'm going to do is I want to get his left leg forwards, because that's the leg that I'm going to attack. So I am going to step, make him step. At the same point, I'm going to bring his arm across and I'm going to come to the outside. Okay? I am outside his shoulder. From here, I am going to drop level and I'm going to stick up under this leg. From here, I'm going to pull down on this. There's a lift, which rotates him and allows me to get that takedown. So this is a illegal technique in judo because I am gripping at the leg, but it's a very effective technique. Going to see it one more time with a little bit more flow to it. So we're right side to right side. Yes, it's right side forward. I've broken that grip. I make him step. I come to the outside. I'm going to go in, down, lift. Bring him down. Control. Attack. Okay? Very effective technique. Now we've got Nick nicely on the ground. We're going to keep him here. We're looking at guard passing. And what I'm trying to focus on for a couple of classes is kind of grouping things together. So, basic concept, guard pass is, his guard is his legs. If I am this side of his hip line, I am in his guard. Open guard, closed guard. If we draw a line across his hips, this side, I have yet to pass his guard. If I can persuade him to just kind of sit there with a cold drink and not do anything, this is a guard pass. I just passed his guard. The easiest one in the books, right? So, what we looked at in the last lesson was guard passes that were that concept, but a little bit more advanced, of going around his legs. Okay? Jiu-jitsu works in 3 dimensions. We looked at going around his legs. If this guy's got really flexible hips, really good leg movement, it can be very hard to work my way around his legs. I will pass, I will get around the legs, I will come, and the legs come back past me. Happens a lot. It can be frustrating. So, there are other guard passes that we like to use. And the group I want to look at today involves going under the legs. And I'm going to do this by pinning his body, pinning him to the mat, and working through. So, we'll look at how to open the guard in another class, because there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I want to focus on the actual guard pass element. So we're going to start from this position of this guard is already open. Now this happens naturally. A lot of times he's working with his closed guard, and he opens to go for an armbar, he opens to go for the sweep. We end up in this position. This also happens when he's on the ground, I'm closing the distance, his feet get in between me, and he's trying to pull me into a closed guard. So we get to this position a lot, even if I haven't worked to open the guard. The first thing I'm going to look at here is, I'm going to go with a single hand underneath. Now, our solid rule of thumb is I never want to be one arm up, one arm down, because I'm going to get triangle, okay? This is not good for me. So that's still true. So what that means is when this guard opens up, I'm going to bring my elbows inside his legs, and I'm going to get my little T-Rex going here to control. I might even have one knee up and be blocking here. So I've got a wall, knee to elbow, or I'm knee to elbow here, because I don't want him to get into my armpit space here. Now this elbow, I'm tensioning against his leg. I've made a frame, my elbow doesn't move. What I'm going to do is rotate my arm to the inside. So I've got my control point, I swim to the inside, his leg comes up onto my shoulder, and I'm going to punch through and look for the gi right up here. See how my hands come to the inside to block this down to protect against the triangle. I've got to be aware, he's going to try and grab my sleeve and pull, but I can control this. From here, I am going to push his knee to his nose. Okay? Once his knee's on his nose, I can slowly slide my weight round until I've completed the pass, and then I get to whatever position I'm looking for. Okay? So that is how I go. One arm under. Another option from the same situation, using my two elbows as blockers, swim both arms under. Now if I just go under like this and I allow him to keep his hips on the ground, he will get mobile, he will put his feet on my hips, and he will start working, controlling me, and make my life a misery. Or he might go for a no-arm triangle, which is a horrible thing to get caught in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift him up, sitting upright, putting his hips over my knees. I've got good control of him at this point. My elbows are squeezed together, and I've got a gable grip here. From this point, I am looking for whichever side my hand is, I'm taking gi from the other side, and I make a nice solid grip here. My aim is to have my fist around about his hip on this side, my elbow locks to his hip the other side. From here, my hand goes back, I'm taking a fistful of his pants, literally fingers inside, looking for the label. I sprawl my legs back, and you'll notice my elbow is locked. I am not up and high and compressing, I'm low, and I'm driving off my toes. My elbow stays locked, and I walk around my elbow. And if you come around here, you will see my elbow has not moved. My forearm has maintained that position the entire rotation. That's what locks his hips and stops him following me. If this splays in any way, shape or form, his hips will follow me and we'll just spin in a circle. Okay, so that's how I go under with double arms. For both of these passes, there is a quick version. With a single underlook, I can control here, shrug, pass. With double unders, whatever situation, he's gone to the ground, up, shrug, pass. Those are both very effective. I typically use that more no-gi than gi. What you will find is you are far more likely to create a scramble with those moves. As I go here and I shrug, if he just keeps rotating up, go up onto your knees, just roll over, up onto his knees, turns and faces. He has freedom to go to that. Same thing if I go double unders, it's going to be the same thing. As I shrug this, if he just uses that motion to turn, he's back at me. I'm aware of that, I can flow over that and control, but that is my risk. When I go slow and controlled, I have pinned him to the mat, and he stays where I put him. So there's far less chance of creating a scramble, which is better for me to slowly control. So it's going to depend on the situation, it's going to depend on relative levels of the people I'm going with, how much time there is, what's going on, all the other stuff. But situational, my preference, if I've got time, is to go slow and controlled instead of creating the craziness of a scramble. That's my style. Everyone has their own style. One final thing I want to look at is when I'm going for this single under, I'm going to go this side for change. When I get my thumb in here and I create this pressure to pass, as he passes, if I leave my hand in here, I am into a really tight choke. I can do this one-handed. I'm going to drop my elbow up towards his ear. If I really want to control it, I come up under this arm and I create there for the choke. So I'm coming down and across. We used to get told this is a straight crush. I don't want to crush his windpipe. I want to open his chin up and create the choke there. Opening it up and creating the choke. So it's a true choke. I pull this up and then my forearm goes across this side to close out that carotid artery. So Nick, thanks for waking me back up. Thanks for helping me out. Good training.